lived, a job. Eight of Cups is something that you can see this time has been spent stacking this thing. And however, the person is ready to move on. It's a feeling of weariness, feeling tired, feeling ready for the next cycle. And in this card too, it's showing the new moon. I'll have to check the date of when the new moon happens in July, but that might be the time when you're finally feeling ready to move on to the next cycle. But regardless, you're ready for that. And I see a lot of red and yellow energy here, Aries. I'm just going to check that date for the new moon. Yeah, it's actually July 4th. So that makes sense that it's right here at the beginning of the month. That you're ready to move on to something new. You're ready to complete that old cycle. Right around July 4th, you'll be wanting to move on to something new. I do see like red and yellow energy here. So red is motivation, red is passion, vitality, energy, vigor, and yellow is optimism. So I do see the first sort of half of the month here. There's some later here, but this is more blue energy. This is more thinking things. I can see that with the farmer card here, but use this red and yellow energy. You know, sometimes when I see red and yellow together, I think appetite. I know that red and yellow are together, like make people have appetites. That's why restaurants will use red and yellow in their decor. It tends to make people hungry. But these two cards here you can see these are coins cards, and they've got a lot of red and yellow in them. It's a time where you can really be optimistic and use that inspiration, that vital energy to create and manifest money. It's interesting because this card, 3 of Coins, is financial creativity, and 5 of Coins is usually about loss or financial loss. So in both of these cards, there's a focus. You can see these stained glass window. They're kind of almost opposites of one another. And this one, the guy's inside the church and he's creating stuff. He's creating money. Money always comes from a spiritual place first, and then the money follows. So this person is outside the church. He's outside in the cold, in the snow, in the Rider Waite. He's walking through the snow and he's being comforted. The focus of this card is to always have your focus on the spiritual world first, that if you get too preoccupied with what's in the material world, you may feel left out in the cold, you may feel at a loss. Sometimes this is financial loss, but that there's always this sort of warm window with the spiritual world that's always available to you. In this card, he's in the church and he's working collaboratively. This is the worker that works with the architect and the person who's going to be using the building. So this card is financial creativity. It's group projects. It's the artist card. This is a wellspring that comes from within you, and it's money that comes from your own creativity. This is loss when you're focused too much on the material world and to the exclusion of the spiritual world. So there's a real polarity between these cards in many ways, between creativity, a wellspring of money, and I'll even say multiple streams of income is 3 of Coins energy. When you're creating something from within, it's also an artist card. So creation of that money, working on things collaboratively, collectively, multiple streams of income. That's 3 of Coins energy. And then 5 of Coins is saying, but don't get too hung up on all the money. Don't feel like you're cut off from the rest of the world, that's the only thing that matters. Realize that it's the spiritual world that always comes first. Even amongst financial losses, if you can connect with this warm, radiant energy, you'll never feel like you're left out in the cold. And you can see both of these cards are surrounded by your strength. So strength is a card of patience, endurance, holding through when you need courage. It's a real card of courage. And she's not trying to force anything. The reason that strength can open the jaws of the lion is because she has courage. She has patience. She has fortitude. She's not fearful. She knows her own strength and she connects with her own strength. So I'm going to say at the beginning of the month, especially regarding your views on money, Aries, Connect with your own strength, realize your own patience, fortitude, not trying to force anything, and see where you are going to align with in terms of this money energy. Strength is actually surrounded by all this coin stuff. 6 here is about the haves and the have-nots. 6 of coins is all about knowledge, power, who has the money, who doesn't have the money, weighing options, budgeting, assessment of who has it, who doesn't have it. This is also assessment of money, but in a different way. I'll talk about that in a moment. But realize that your strength is central to all this money stuff, and patience, endurance, fortitude, having courage. So if there's some way that you need to employ courage or connect with your own courage, that is going to directly affect all of your money energy. And you have the opportunity to sort of step away from an old thing that you've put a lot of time and energy to and get creative, work with others, be collaborative, consider different ways that money can come into you and the way that you can create it. If you get too hung up on it, you might incur some losses for yourself. And if you get too focused on the material world versus the spiritual world, keep in mind this is where your focus needs to be in order to create, because the spiritual world is where money is always created first. Towards the middle of the month, you have it surrounding some swords energy here. I'm going to talk first about these two. This is Page of Wands, and this is a fire sign, just like yourself. But Page is the younger side of ourselves. So I'm going to say that this might be the younger part of you, or it could be a younger person. It could literally be a fire sign like Aries, Leo, or Aries, Leo, or am I blanking on that? I'm a Sagittarius. So it could be a younger person that you're having a falling out with, like that they are wanting money from you. But I'm actually reading this Aries as the younger part of you. This is you as a younger person. And Page means being open, being willing, being motivated, being excited about something, willing to take something on. There's some way in which Page is in reverse, especially regarding like who has things and who doesn't have things. And he's looking directly at 8 of Swords, this is victim mentality, or a belief system that we think we're stuck, we think we're enclosed. It's not believing in your own power. When 8 of Swords is in reverse, it's saying you're resistant to letting those old thoughts that are enclosing you go. Or maybe even being resistant to letting your own story of powerlessness go. 8 of Swords, you can see in here, she has the power. She's wearing this red dress. She's full of life, vital energy, red blood, passion, energy. But she thinks that she's bound because of all these swords. Swords represent the mental element, that represent thoughts. So it's actually her own thoughts that are surrounding her and keeping her believing that she's a captive. There's actually no one there keeping her captive. She can cut these binds on these swords, take off her blindfold, and walk away. She's actually got a clear path out of this. But it's her beliefs, it's all these swords that she's holding on to that are keeping her there. So what I'm going to say is these two things are completely relevant to one another in the middle of the month. Your belief of yourself as a victim or victim mentality, your subscribing to your own powerlessness, is what's sapping and draining all of your motivation, all of your optimism, all of your willingness to go forward in something. So what I'll say is if you can turn around this 8 of Swords energy, if you can let go of these beliefs, or just not let them have any power over you, just walk out of them, this guy might turn around. You might find yourself with some renewed, sort of like your young self, renewed optimism, passion, excitement, willingness, all of that. So work on that, Aries, middle of the month. If you find that you feel both of these cards are somewhat about feeling powerless or feeling victimized, see if you can resolve that. And then Here we have two 6 cards, the 6 of coins and 6 of swords. 6 of coins, like I said, is about who has things versus who doesn't have things. Trying to identify with the guy who has more than enough, who hands it out and shares his resources. He gives away money and therefore more comes to him. It's a balance between giving for himself, giving to others. He's very, balanced and equitable. Equitable is a good word for this card because he's equitable not only in terms of equity, having money, but equitable in terms of being fair, good business dealings. That's what I get from this. This is like good business, handing out the right amount to the right person, paying people fair wages, keeping some for reinvesting in the business and keeping some as a profit. It's really all here in 6 of coins cards, 6 of coins rather. And 6 is a card of balance, of harmony, of order. So with whatever you're doing that's good business, it may take you new places. It may help you recover from any hardships that you may have had in the past. 6 of Swords shows a person who is rescuing another person, or it could be rescuing yourself, or you even being rescued by someone else from hard, choppy waters to smoother seas and new, more solid, stable, calmer, peaceful horizons. So what I'm seeing is that by pursuing and engaging in ways of harmony, you take yourself from a precarious, challenging, difficult position to smoother seas. Things are balanced. Things are ordered when 6 of coins comes up. Do things in a fair way. That's what this Libra balance scale is about. And it takes you from strife and chaos to order and new horizons, calm seas. And also travel, new places to go. You'll see new things, new horizons open up before you, Aries. Towards the end of the month, this is a farmer card. This is 7 of coins. Now, this is sometimes called the millionaire's card. It's also sometimes called reassessment, reevaluation. When this card comes up, the money is not quite yet available to you, but you've planted all the seeds and now it's being sown. The time is not yet ripe to harvest, though. So the farmer card is about taking time, having patience, again, just like the strength card. But reevaluating and reassessing is what I'm planting, the fruits that I want to sow. Am I seeing the benefits to all this work that I'm putting in? Am I harvesting? Am I getting money from this? Am I getting sweetness from this? It may not be time yet. If you harvested this money right now, it might be sour. It might not be sweet yet. Sometimes the grapes, which is what these are symbolized as, the crop needs to sweeten on the vine. So it might be saying like the timing is not yet right, but it's a time to reassess and reevaluate if the labors that you're putting into things are generating the results that you're after, especially regarding to money. And then this card is Page of Cups. In the same sense that this is Page of Fire, this is Page of Water. And this card is a card of infatuation. It's a card of young love. It's a card of the young side of yourself and having your heart leap. So this could mean, with these 2 pages here head to head, that it could mean like there's an infatuation with a water sign. So if you're involved with a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio, this could mean that you're engaging in like, sort of puppy love, or you might be infatuated with a new way of doing things. All this blue energy is about thinking and thoughts, and this card is definitely about reevaluating, reassessing things. This card could even just be a card of asking like, what ignites my passion? What turns me on? What makes my heart jump? Where is that young teenager inside me that is just, enlivened and enthralled by things? That's what this card is about. Because it looks like there's a new beginning coming up for you at the end of the month in July, Aries. This is Ace of Wands, and it's a fire card too. This is the card that is symbolized by the parade leader out front who throws the baton. And you can see it's got this fresh new sprig of new life. It's an ace, so it represents new beginnings. And it's the universe handing you this new vital, fresh energy. So it could be whatever you fall in love with here. Time is turning, And the hands of time, the same hand that is handing you this new life is turning the wheel of time, and it's saying that, you know, it may be good timing for a new beginning. What you were ready to leave here at the beginning of July, you're weary about, by the time the end of July comes, you may be ready to welcome in that fresh new ace, that new, clear, refreshed, renewed energy. And this is like the wheel of time, wheel of fortune, saying, you know, now is the time for the new beginning. So I get the sense that you may do some reassessment at the end of July, Aries, relook at what makes your heart jump or leap, what makes you feel impassioned, where's your emotion turned on, where do you get that heart connected feeling from? Because it might be a time to begin something new, especially towards the very end of July for you, Aries.